Repko joins us now with all the numbers. Melissa.
Home Depot beat on the top and bottom line for the quarter with earnings of $4.60. That's better than the $4.49 that analysts had expected. For revenue, it reported $43.18 billion, slightly higher than the $43.06 billion expected by analysts. But its forecast is really the big news here. The company cut its comparable sales outlook for the year, saying it now expects a decline of 3 to 4%. It previously expected a decline of about 1%. While its forecast for total sales went up, that's only because Home Depot added sales from the recent acquisition of SRS Distribution. Otherwise, it would amount to a cut of both comparable sales and its total sales forecast. CFO Richard McPhail told me Home Depot is contending with a new challenge along with high interest rates. It's heard that from home professionals like contractors. Pros tell us that for the first time, their customers aren't just deferring because of higher financing costs, he said. They're deferring because of a greater sense of uncertainty in the economy. So that's something that's new this quarter that they've been hearing more widely from both those pros and DIY customers.
It's interesting because it felt like going into these numbers, the street was sort of bracing themselves with low expectations. They're taking down numbers. They're saying July was going to be very messy because of weather. And then here we have the next shoe to drop here. Is there a sense from the CFO that there's any sort of trough in sight?
You know, there really is not an expectation that trends will change. That's something he said, that really the quarter is starting out the same as what they've seen. And the notable thing here is that Home Depot's consumer is not the typical consumer that Walmart has. 90% of their DIY customers own their home. So these are people who are in a better financial position, and even they are being more cautious about spending.
So was the assumption here was that the pros and the contractors, these are people that are doing renovations, they're seeing weakness there because homeowners they're just not renovating, they're not repairing. What's happened? What's your sense of what's happening?
Yes, Richard McPhail told me, the CFO, said that people are in a deferral mindset. That was something he said last quarter, but that has persisted. And then you layer on that extra uncertainty right now where people are just a little bit nervous. They're seeing a slight increase in unemployment. Maybe they're still feeling like nervous in general about inflation. And I asked him about that because generally you wouldn't think of a homeowner worrying about taking on a project. But the interesting thing he also mentioned is that part of the problem is that interest rates are expected to get cut pretty soon. And so a lot of those consumers are telling pros, hey, I'm going to put off that kitchen remodel, I'm going to put off that bathroom remodel or addition until rates come down because I hear it's going to happen in the next few months.
That's interesting because CEO of Bank of America, Brian Moynihan, had an interview with CBS over the weekend, and he was talking about how the consumer really needed to see that rate cut. Otherwise, it's really hard to get them back. There's like this, depth of negativity. And once they get there, it's hard to bring them back to the spending mode. And
yes.
It sort of looks like that's what's going on here. Let's hope that consumers will see the rate cut as some sort of relief.
I did ask him, is there any historic information that could predict how quickly after a rate cut do you see an uptick in projects? And he said they don't really have good data on that. But one thing they've noticed is when mortgage rates have gone down even slightly in the past year, they have seen housing turnover go up, which is a positive sign that consumers do react quickly, are staying on the sidelines, and do have the money to jump back in. But again, are taking this more wait and see approach and maybe are also feeling more uncertain because of the macro.